And I'm not even going to lie. I put myself first in checkers because I wanted to go first in this,
All right.
mostly because I know I'm going to tee it up and Rick is going to come back at everything I say from the opposite point of view.
So I went wide open, hoping for a little taste of that unknown, living in a fast car, living in a fast car days.
All right, welcome back to another edition of Checkers, Wreckers, and What the Heckers. My name is Chad Bearden. I'm a country music artist, content creator, and NASCAR super fan. I'm joined, as always, by my co-hosts who are raring and ready to talk, apparently. Let me introduce you to the first one. Straight out of shampoo commercials that were too scared to air on. Let me back up. Straight out of shampoo commercials, they were too scared to air. His follicles, stronger than a Kyle Larson restart. His flow, wilder than Clint Boyer after 6 Busch Lights. He's got so much damn horsepower in his hair, NASCAR tried to tech inspect his scalp. His follicle, this is going well today. His follicular freak, the conditioning king, and the at-track VIP wrangler for the Haas Factory team. Ladies and gentlemen, bow down to the follicle phenom, Rick Kojan.
Appreciate that. It's still a good It's still a good intro. You tongue-tied yourself on that one. I think the troublesome one was follicle freak.
Follicular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one.
Sometimes I try to be too smart for my own good.
That one got him.
Yeah, that Alabama ease tripped him up on that one.
I even practiced it
follicular.
Earlier.
Yeah,
follicular.
Follicular. Yeah. It's follicular freak. It's a tough one. But anyway,
all right.
Happy to be back. Thanks for having me. Let's introduce the real rock star here, the good-looking guy.
He's coming into the podcast like a gavel of thunder. This Hendrick Motorsports hotshot has more horsepower in his veins than a restrictor plate outlaw, and when he hits the gas, panties drop faster than lap times at Charlotte. They call him the fastest man in North Carolina, and let's be real, the only thing he leaves behind is smoke, rubber, and a trail of broken hearts. Court is in session, speed freaks, and Supreme Court Justice is here to overrule you.
Well. Welcome back, boys.
Another good episode on yours. He did better on yours.
I'm struggling today.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm still recovering from Bristol. Maybe
Listen,
that's
you
it.
had a good weekend.
It was a good weekend. What about you, though? Because you were supposed to be there, and then plans changed for you. What was going on with you, Chris?
I just had a little meniscus tear repair. So they got me on jack stands for a few weeks just to make sure I'm good to go for the Charlotte Roval back in action in Charlotte. So, yeah, my weekend was pretty much on jack stands.
Yeah, both my co-hosts look banged up here. Chris is hobbling around. Ricky must have got a hold of some of that Bristol concrete on the side of his face. What happened?
I just went and got some dermatology surgery because I thought we were a team. And I thought we agreed when Chris was having a little surgery procedure, we were all three going to do it. Where's yours, Bearden?
Well, mine is not visible.
Oh,
please. No, I thankfully had no medical stuff myself, though I did wake up to a surprising call from my brother this morning that my uncle had emergency surgery this morning. So
things happen in threes. So unfortunately, that's probably the third one here between the three of us. Is he gonna be all right?
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, he's definitely got some issues going on, but hopefully makes a recovery. They had to drain a lot of fluid out of his chest, kind of brought on by his liver failing to get it out of his body. So some issues there, but yeah, it was a good weekend. Both Rick and I were at the track. I got to be Rick's assistant at the Haas Factory team this weekend.
Assistant.
I was the co-at-track VIP coordinator with him and
Word.
Eric this weekend, which was
Interning.
a lot of fun.
We were working as a team.
I was entering.
Nice.
So, but a lot of fun. Our Xfinity teams did very well, and we'll get into that. Our Cup team kind of struggled a bit, Rick.
It's a fair way to say it. Sure. I mean, I don't know. You were going to ask for my perspective on the weekend. Is this the part where you want my perspective?
Yeah,
Because I read the show notes. I pay attention. You want my perspective?
yeah.
All right, here it comes. Hold on. Here's my perspective. Let me get this. All right, ready? Here's my perspective. And now we're just talking about Saturday. We ran 33rd. We finished 12 laps down. There were 14 cautions in the goddamn race. 30% of the laps, roughly 30% of the laps, were run under caution.
All right, let's not get too far in here. We still got more
It was
segments.
almost 4 hours at Bristol, but the fans were happy, and that's all that counts. There's my perspective on the weekend. Are we good?
We are good.
Or maybe we should have just left it like you did when you said, well, we didn't do that good. I just expounded upon it. I mean, I'm agreeing with you, Chad, but I just gave more detail as to why Saturday night's Cup effort from the 41 team was not that good.
All right. Well, today's episode is being brought to you by our friends at Cord Buddy. We appreciate them supporting us and everything that we do. Be sure to check them out at cordbuddy.com. Their full line of products. They have the Cord Buddy, the Uke Buddy, and the full line of guitars and other things. Got a message from Travis, the owner, that he sent out a package of products for us. That went out today. So excited to get that. But yeah, if you're interested in learning to play guitar, well, now you can. This is guitar playing made simple. On day one, you can play hundreds of your favorite songs, maybe thousands, with the help of the Cord Buddy. Now, this is not a cheating mechanism. This is not a shortcut. This is training wheels for learning to play guitar. You put the Cord Buddy on the neck of the guitar, you use the color-coded tabs, and you're playing songs immediately. As you get better, as you progress in your strumming patterns and you get more confident, you can start taking those tabs off one by one, and your fingers are now playing real, actual guitar chords. Also opens up a whole world of guitar playing for folks who may have certain disabilities or maybe medical issues that would prevent them from being able to chord a guitar like they used to. So really cool invention that Travis came up with. He got a deal on Shark Tank and launched this thing, and it has taken off. And we appreciate them so much for continuing to bring you episodes of Checkers, Wreckers, and What the Heckers every week. They're also
thank you, Travis.
Yeah,
yes, big thank you to Travis.
They are also going to help us bring some live events, fellas. We got a couple live events coming up, right, Ricky?
Are we doing a live event?
Multiple. Where's our first one, though?
Here's the calendar date to circle up. It's Charlotte Roval race weekend. Roval is on the 5th. That's a Sunday. Back your ass up a couple days. Friday, October 3rd, 5 p.m. Kannapolis, the Old Armor Beer Company. We're going to be down there. We are going to be guests. We are going to be on stage live. It's our first one, which I think is just crazy. Because it's like literally getting in our car for the first time. We haven't turned any laps. He's going to turn us loose on stage with an unbelievable guest that you've got hooked up for us. You all got to get yourself down right in the center there of downtown Kannapolis, 211 West Avenue. You don't got to look it up. I already did it for you. Old Armor Beer Company, 5 p.m. October 3rd. Get you some. Who we got, Chad?
Yeah, we got Carrie Earnhardt coming to hang out with us and going to give us all his stories, talk about his racing career, his family, the legacy that he is trying to continue in that family, and the different ventures he's got, including Rick, the only officially licensed Earnhardt beer on the planet, right there at Old Armor Brewing Company, beer company, right downtown Kannapolis. And
Are we just
then,
going to look at it, or can we drink it?
oh, you'll be drinking it, I have no
So
doubt.
there's going to be Earnhardt beer, not like for show and tell, but
Nope.
like drink and inhale on
For
my part.
for consumption. And then,
Chris, you can have a beer with me?
Absolutely.
Killer.
We definitely will have a beer.
all right, where else you having beers at, Chris Justice?
Listen, we're going to have beers in Dago, baby.
Dago.
Mark your calendar again. Circle this
There you
one.
go.
10/19, 9 a.m. NASCAR Fan Experience, Talladega. We'll be live once again. Live show number 2 with another outstanding guest live in Talladega, October 19th, 9 a.m.
You don't want
Circle
to
that
miss
one.
that one.
The NASCAR Fan Experience stage is
Yes.
actually going to let us on the stage.
We're on the stage.
The same stage where I like take Cole Custer for the Custer Report.
Yes.
Dale
We're on the
Jr. was
stage.
on. Dale Jr. was on there this weekend when we were picking up Sam and
I don't know
the
how
guys.
you guys can't be excited about that one.
Listen, you got to be.
What time is that one?
9.
9 in the morning before the cup
9 a.m.
race.
All right, so that's an AM one.
That's
All
an
right,
AM one.
I'm going to set my alarm for that one. I promise I'm going to be there.
All right, fellas, it's that time again. Our weekly trip into the corner, stacked up, 3 wide.
Rewind.
All right, our first question this week. We just had an elimination race at Bristol that we're going to get into more in depth. We had 4 drivers eliminated this week, and I want to know who will be the next 4 drivers eliminated from this playoff system that you love so much, Ricky.
I damn sure do. I like this playoff system. We'd call this round of 12. We're going to run 3 races: New Hampshire, Kansas, and the Roval. For all of you not paying attention, and for the one dude who said that Rick doesn't know anything about NASCAR, that would be a flat 1 mile up in New Hampshire, followed by a more traditional but well worn out and very racy 1.5 in Kansas, followed by a something like 12 to 15 turn unique Charlotte road course Roval, where if you bought tickets and sit in the stands, it is the one and only racetrack where you can see the entire road course and enjoy a road course event without seeing a car go by and stand around and having a beer for the next minute and a half. Now that I laid out for you where the tracks are, because that's important, now I'm going to drop on you who the 4 are that are going to drop out. We're going to lose 4 cars and 4 drivers on the cut. In no particular order of confidence, those drivers are. Man, it hurts me to say this first one. Ross Chastain, my melon man. I don't see the speed. I don't feel it. Bubba Wallace. Austin Cindric. And man, this last one's a flyer. And it hurts me to say this. As much as it hurts me to say this one, I am not so sure about Chase Elliott. Those are my 4. Wow. Elliott, Cindric, Bubba, Ross Chastain. Mark them down. Can only leave 8 after that. So ain't like you're gonna be cutting Byron and Hamlin. I mean, so everybody get on the stick. Let's see what the 2 of you got.
Listen, I got Cindric in no order.
Okay. Hold on. Yep.
I got
check
Cindric.
that off. Copy.
I also had Chastain.
Copy.
I had Reddick.
Interesting.
And Wallace.
Okay, so we match
outside of Reddick and Elliott.
Correct.
Yeah.
You're just basically saying all of 2311
I just
is
don't.
exit
Yeah.
stage right.
Yeah. They're
Is
going to
that
be
right?
watching.
That's my left. That's
They're
right.
going to be. They're going to be watching.
Okay. But here's the real thing, Chris. What it doesn't really matter what we think.
It doesn't.
It
What does
only
super
matters
fan
what the
got?
super fan thinks.
Because he's
Because
been
he's
waiting
on
all.
all the websites and on all the social media shit. And he knows this rumor and that rumor, and someone's taking somebody's ride. So that crew chief's not going to try as hard. Come on.
Yeah, I agree that Chastain is out.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on.
Uh,
That's 3 votes. Make sure we're tracking this. What else you got?
I agree that Bubba Wallace is out.
My goodness. Okay. 3
Okay.
Bubbas, 3 Chastains.
I agree that Cindric will be out.
Well, we're 3 for 3, for God's sakes.
All right. What's the odd one? What do you got?
And I'm gonna go with Chase Elliott being
Oh,
eliminated.
2 for
Oh, he
Elliott.
doubles up with me.
I line
Your
up
picks are
with you.
identical to me, Super. I got to tell you, I now
Well-
feel very, very supported because with the super fans boat behind me. Whoa.
Well,
Yeah.
I did have to just again. I made my whole thing before the playoffs started, and I told you I was one of those people that thought SVG would squeak through the first
Yeah.
round based on the points that he had banked. I was
Mhm.
wrong. I thought that he
We
could.
told you that.
Listen, I'm not saying you didn't. I
Wouldn't
am
it be
only
fair at this point if you just said you guys were right, just to make us feel
you.
good for a second?
You were right. I'm saying
Cheers
Does
I
to
that
was
feel
that.
good? Hold
I
on, I
was
got that
wrong.
one too.
I
Cheers
was
to that.
I was
Cheers.
giving him my dark horse belief that he had improved enough to squeak out 18th place finishes. He did not, and so I had to just adjust just a little bit. So that's yeah, I'm with you there. So
The,
yeah.
the reason I called out where the tracks are was
Mhm.
for this reason. I've not seen if Chase Elliott gets behind or gets in a hole, I've not seen him do anything in a road course in a next gen car that would justify moving on. I think the Reddick pick is interesting because Reddick can be good on a road course. I think if he needs it to save his season, and I would
think
almost
the other
even
ones-
say, Cindric is good at road
Well,
courses.
Chastain has won at a road course.
I just think the other 2 tracks prior to that, though, is going to set the tone, right?
That's
I just
fair.
think it's
And,
going to
and,
be.
and I agree with you,
Well,
right? And
and
if it puts those guys in a win or go home whole, then all it takes is like a C Bell or somebody to win the road course race, and out
or
they go.
SVG to win the road course race.
Good point.
And it
Good
doesn't,
point.
and everybody else doesn't matter. It's going
Yeah,
to be
that's a
based
good
on the
point.
points.
That's a good point.
Um,
All right, that's a good one.
Yeah, that was.
all right, now for fun, I
Hmm.
want to know, in your opinion,
Mhm.
what is the best fight in NASCAR history? And we are going to start with you, Chris Justice.
Can I just say that I'm hoping for a consensus here? I'm
Well-
going out on a limb. I know I'm a lot older than you dudes.
Yeah.
I'm hoping for a consensus. Bring it.
So listen, I have to own it. I had to do a little research, right? So the one I've come up with, and I'm gonna start old school because this is a classic one right here, and we're gonna go Cale Yarborough and Allison for me. There was a couple more, right, that I witnessed myself, but you said of all time,
Yeah.
right? So that puts a little damper on it. That changes the mojo a little bit. I'm gonna go with the Cale Yarborough fights.
Ricky.
Listen. Listen. It's 1979. Okay. Little Ricky Kojan is at home in his house, Euclid, Ohio. It's snowing like the bejesus in the Midwest and the Northeast. It literally is a shutdown snowdown. Okay.
Right.
CBS is like, hey, here's a great idea. Here's our first fully televised flag to flag coverage. I'm so fired up. I don't even remember, what am I, 12 years old or something like that? I don't know, 12 or something. I'm so fired up. I got my mom, my dad. Everybody's going to watch this race. We watched that race complete entirety. And exactly like Chris said, watched Donnie Allison in the #1 Hawaiian Tropic car side slamming down the backstretch with Cale Yarborough, I believe, in the #11 Holly Farms car. And they proceed, like literally, I forget who it was. One ran the other one down the track to the inside. They slam, they go up, they wreck. What Chris didn't mention about, and there's a fight. I think I think it was Ken Squire at that time who said that. Thank you. What makes this even better is that third place steams on by to win the race. Okay. And I believe that's Richard Petty, because I think they all like got on the hood of his car and they were weighing it down. And I remember it going there to Victory Lane on the broadcast, and then it swings back to turn 3 where these cars have come to a rest. There's another car and another individual who has joined this fight. And that was my man, my first favorite driver, Bobby Allison, comes to the defense of his brother. And you just see helmets and kicking and punches as they're just whooping up on old Cale Yarborough. Man, that's my fight right there. I hope we have a consensus.
What do you got, Superfan?
That was mine too. I think it just changed
3 for 3.
The trajectory of the sport. Every time, I mean, still you see replays of that fight. And I think it set the tone for NASCAR that this is not your typical motorsport series. Like, this is not everything, we're not IndyCar, we're not F1, we're not, because rarely do you see or hear that kind of stuff in those sports, right? Especially, F1 is so polished and so worldly and all these things. And, it was some Alabama boys getting rough with it. So, when Bobby drove back across the infield, like, it's kind of the, I can fight my brother, but you can't fight my brother. You can, whatever I can talk all the crap I want to about my brother, but if you say a word, you're getting your teeth knocked out.
It's just great.
Yeah. I did another one that was kind of an honorable mention for me, and Chris, you might have lived this one, was the Fontana 2013 Tony Stewart and Joey Logano.
Yeah, that was a good one too. He also had the 2014 Keselowski and Gordon fight in Charlotte, I believe it was, and Harvick was the instigator and pushed Keselowski.
Pushed him. That's right. I remember that. Yeah, there's definitely some other honorable mentions.
Harvick would never stir up crap.
Oh, yeah,
He would never talk any trash. He would never. Oh, God. That was fun. I didn't know if I'm not going to lie, Chris, I kind of expected you to come with some Tony Stewart stories.
Well, I wasn't there for all the good ones. You know what I mean? I had him when he was tame. I didn't get the young Tony.
Tony Stewart still ain't tame.
Well, he's tamer than he was as a rookie.
Well, that's fair.
But I was there for the Logano one in Cali. I saw that one. It's like, ooh, this guy don't play.
He said, I'm going to whoop it.
That's what he said.
Wasn't Stewart at Fontana one time? Yeah, at Fontana, that classic interview.
That was bust his ass.
I'm going to bust his ass. And he goes, okay, thank you. Thank you, Tony.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was fun. Let's get into some checkers, wreckers, and what the heckers for Bristol.
Checkers, wreckers, and what the heckers.
What the?
Here we go.
All right. We got trucks, Xfinity, and Cup. Chris, you're up first with checkers for trucks.
Well, with the trucks, you got to go checkers. You got to give it out to Lane Riggs. Drove one hell of a race from start to finish. Did all the right things, put all the right moves in all the right places. Given that he wrecked in lap 1, trying to go 3 wide on the bottom, had to restart 36, and to finish P1, you got to give hats off to Lane Riggs.
Yeah, my checkers was actually for Ben Rhodes. He came home with a second place finish this week. It's probably the best he's ran all year. He was solidly up front all night. He battled Lane Riggs and came home in that runner-up spot. So he gets my checkers. Ricky, did you want to jump in?
I'm just going to pile on you two and say my checkers can go to both Lane Riggs and Ben Rhodes because that means not one, but two people beat Corey Heim.
True.
All right.
Facts. Fair.
My
Facts.
my wreckers
It's legit.
was mechanical issues. Both Chandler Smith and Jake Garcia, both playoff drivers, suffered mechanical issues, different mechanical issues, but wrecked their nights. Really took two playoff drivers out of contention. That was my wreckers. Chris?
Yeah, I had the same thing. I had Chandler Smith with the record with I think he had a electrical problem, which took him out, which you don't want that as a playoff driver. So
All
yeah,
right.
that was my record.
Ricky?
I ain't got much for you on this one.
All right, that's fine. Chris, what's your heckers?
Let's see. My hecker is Honeycutt. Just runs over to 18 in stage 2. Like, he had a good run, but he just dumped him. Like, what is he doing?
Nobody does that in the truck series.
Yeah, why? Why? You can go low. Like, he wasn't 3 wide. He just runs him over.
Isn't that your buddy, Chad?
No,
Okay.
I don't know him.
I thought it was Honeyman or somebody you were.
That's Leland Honeyman. He runs Xfinity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Honeyman, Honeycutt. It's close.
They're cousins.
Oh, my heckers was Corey Heim. He led much of the race again. He could have secured his 9th victory of the season, but like what has happened to him so many times this season, he got caught up in some crap. It had an issue with lap traffic, loses the lead to Lane Riggs, and was never able to recover.
Bristol's tough for that. Lap traffic get you.
Yeah. Ricky, anything you'd like to add?
Nah, what the heck? Just what the heck?
I mean,
Are we done?
you
Are we done?
you were texting us about the truck race this week, so
I know. I was paying some attention. I try.
all right. Well, give me a checkers for Xfinity, Rick.
Really? I get to lead this one? I felt like you should, but okay. You want me to just steal the thunder and take it?
Take it.
All right, here it is.
Floor is
Here
yours.
is my checkers for Xfinity. Such a layup, such a homer shot, well deserved. I get to work with my super fan, Chad Bearden. He basically is there in the at-track sponsorship role for the Haas Factory team. And what do we do on his weekend? Oh, I don't know. We just happen to roll out a 2nd and 3rd place finish with Sam Mayer and Sheldon Creed. We are the top finishing playoff cars. Okay. My man Creed comes back from a speeding penalty on pit road. We'll get to that later. Actually passes Sam Mayer, I think, with 2 laps remaining to chalk his 15th. That's 15th, if any of you are keeping count. And trust me, Sheldon's keeping count.
Yes.
15th career 2nd place. Okay. Meanwhile, my man, Super Mayor, he leads 68 laps. He clearly shows his ass to the JRM cars that they can be passed, they can be beat. We pick up 16 coveted stage points, and we end that race with my man Sam plus 35 to the cut, and Sheldon, I believe, is plus 7 to the cut, and I get to enjoy it all with my super fan Chad Bearden right there. That is such a great checkers for me. I almost got a little misty on that one. Go ahead.
That was a good time for both of you.
Yeah, for sure.
I had my checker was an alley oop. I had to go with the 19 with Eric Almirola there.
Yeah.
The old man schooled the kids there a little bit.
Yep.
Ran top 10 pretty much all day. he gave him a little homework. Said, "Hey, here's how you. This is how you end the race," and took advantage of some restart woes and brought her own home. So hats off to Eric for that deal.
And listen, he's obviously still super talented. I think he's in his early 40s. He's well respected by Coach Gibbs and the fact he keeps getting put in that car. I don't know. What's he at, Chris? Maybe 8, 10 starts in that car? I don't
Yeah,
know,
part
but
time deal, right? It's
right,
not like he's running full
right.
time.
Well,
And he's,
he is working full time in the organization though.
Well,
He's
not
yeah.
racing full time
yeah,
though,
I'm
No,
right?
saying just
he's
behind
yeah.
the wheel. Yeah,
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 no,
yeah.
no. But I'm saying that's how much coach appreciates him
Yeah.
and respects him is he's been brought on as a full-time driver coach.
Mm-hmm.
And the interesting thing as a quote unquote interloper, right, who is not a full-time driver and not in the playoffs, the bittersweet part that it did for the old HFT team is it took away a free pass
For next
possibility
for the
to
next
move to
round.
the next round of the playoffs,
Right.
right? And that was tough.
Yeah. My checkers was also the Haas factory team and everything that
Oh,
you
look at
said.
you.
I mean, it's
Oh,
hard. Sam qualified on the outside pole. Sheldon had a good qualifying as well, and Sheldon drove the mess out of that car to get back
So,
up.
yep,
Put it all on his shoulders and muscled his way up.
yep,
Sam had some damage there at the end, which kind of kept him from making that run on Almirola.
yep.
Just couldn't make the moves that he was doing earlier. But great run, great points day. I mean, that's what if you can't win it, you might as well get all the points you can.
And he did.
All right, wreckers, Chris.
my records for the Xfinity race is going to go to Sammy Smith, who had an engine issue 55 laps into the race, ruined his day. Took him out completely. That just wrecked the first part of the playoffs for him.
Yeah, my wreckers went to Daniel Dye, who
Hmm.
spun and brought out the caution. Um, this for me was a wrecker that was unfortunate for him and maybe for Connor Zillage, who at that point was way out in front. I think he had like a second and a half or 2 second lead at that point. Big lead, but it also gave the opportunity to Sam and Sheldon to get back in it. Obviously, Almirola is the one that made the moves. He stayed out on old tires and ended up picking up that win. But that race probably looks a lot differently had Daniel Dye not spun. Rick?
Well, I feel like I don't want our 200 followers to think that I'm phoning this one in, but I'm just copying my man, Supreme Court Justice. My record's 100% with Sammy Smith. Um, it's Sammy Smith plus one. And what I mean by plus one, this makes two races in a row where JRM has had an engine failure. I believe it was Kvapil last week. And I know, listen, I know most of their, the Vegas money and everything is on. All we want to do is talk about Little Gator and Zillich for obvious reasons.
Right.
But still, they get the cars in the playoffs and have two engine failures back to back. So it's Sammy Smith on the records with the don't forget that's now two races in a row. So
Yeah.
very
Mm-hmm.
surprising.
It's a good point there, Ricky Bobby.
Thank you,
My
Supreme Court Justice. Let's see what the super fan. Speaking of good points, let's see what the super fans got.
my
Yeah.
Heckers was kind of a back and forth on this. It's both good and bad. But Connor Zillage leads again for the 16th race in a row, ran out front a lot. Just, I would say, probably second to Sam Mayer in laps led. Um, the caution comes out, he pits, he takes four tires, but he still could not get back around Sheldon, Sam, and Eric to get the win. That was my Heckers. Ricky?
So I briefly touched on my hecker already. I didn't want to give it away, but man, if you get to know me, you know what I hate more than anything is speeding on pit road. I just feel like my boys in Cleveland in my fantasy league, they know like this one to me, nobody, I know I'm not a crew chief. I have no right to probably say what I'm going to say, but no way can you ever justify to me that the risk you take pushing it and pushing those lights is worth the reward versus the penalty. And listen, Sheldon Creed, it killed me that it happened to him, happened to us. That's a penalty that's 100% on the driver. And while I will give 100% and tell him that I think the words from our super fan from Alabama was he drove the mess out of it. I would never say a sentence like that, but I would just say he drove the shit out of it. He drove the shit out of it, coming back and rescued a second place finish, his 15th of his career. All facts. What he doesn't have is one damn stage point to show for it. So +7 to the cut line, and I'll celebrate that, and I'll celebrate him driving his ass back up to the field. And he owned, and like Superfan said, he owned the mistake that he made. But in that moment, let's just suppose he breathes that throttle and dips that RPM, another 200 RPM. And let's say he loses 2 or 3 spots on pit road because he's slow on driver time in and driver time out. Would you take that versus starting at the end of the longest line? That's my what the hecker.
What the hecker.
Chris?
It's a fine line there. So my hecker is also the 00 and Sheldon Creed. Because he was so far back and had the woes. And for most of it, it's just 15th P2 finish without the win. That is a lot of P2s.
Continues to break his own record.
Correct. That is a lot of P2s. And I mean, it's a good heck in a good way, not a what the heck in a bad way.
It's
but
true.
It showed what kind of driver he is, the commitment, the dedication, the grit. But yeah, those mistakes just killed his day. In a sense, it could have been P1 right there without that, right?
Listen, my man can wheel a race car. I just, he's +7 to the cut with no stage points because that speeding penalty basically just like takes out that middle part of the race when you're fighting back.
Yeah.
Let's just hope he stays to the plus side and it doesn't come back to haunt us.
All right, let's get into some cup. And I'm not even going to lie. I put myself first in checkers because I wanted to go first in this. Mostly because I know I'm going to tee it up and Rick is going to come back at everything I say from the opposite point of view. So,
all right, what you got?
My checkers for Cup Bristol race was the Goodyear tires.
Yes.
I loved this. I said it in the pits while everything is going on. Listen, I talked to our tire specialist during the race while all this is happening. I'm excited. I'm over the moon about it. And he's like, this is Black Hawk down. He's like, this is horrible. Rick is going, this is the worst NASCAR race I've ever seen. Like he walking around, he and Eric are talking about how bad this is. Listen.
Well, make sure you get everybody. You had Colin. That's the tire specialist. Let's call him out. Colin Hefner.
Yep.
You're calling me out, Eric. Yep. Right. And please don't forget our car chief, Scott Brewer. Go ahead.
Scott Brewer as well.
Continue.
So anyways, it blows my mind that the same people who say we can't have a 32 race that's too boring. That's too boring. The same people who complain about Kyle Larson winning by 6 seconds or whatever it was and lapping all but 5 cars and all this. Again, this is what fans have begged for. This is what drivers have begged for. And I went through today and drivers were split. They all said, this is what we wanted. Some of them said, Brad Keselowski is like, I loved this. I thought this was great. And then Blaney was like, yeah, this was awesome. Maybe it was a little too far, but this is definitely what we're looking for. He's like, I want tires to fall off. Do I want them to cord after 25 laps? Maybe not. Hocevar was somewhere in the middle in there. But again, especially on these short tracks where there's been no passing, there's been no strategy, there's been nothing. There were like 50 different strategies in this. There were drivers trying to see if they could make it last. There were guys who were running long, who were pitting short, who didn't know what to do. This is, as a fan, now I understand, Colin. I understand you're put in a horrible position because you're the tire specialist and you have 9 allotted sets of sticker tires. And that's what you're supposed to year make last. For me, this created awesome drama, awesome chaos. You didn't know who was going to win this race. You didn't know what team was going to come out on top because you got to figure out how to time this all right. You got to, a little bit, you just got to stay out of somebody else's crap. To me, it was so entertaining. It was so fun to watch. It was everything that we have begged Goodyear for and more. To me, that's my checkers. And so there it is. Chris, you're up next, and then Rick can bring it around and tell me why I'm wrong.
So I am going to co-sign. I think Goodyear bringing a tire with fall off was excellent. How many boring races have we had where we run out of gas before we run out of tire, right? The strategy is stage points, right? Not really tire management. And those guys, those old school drivers, the Keselowskis, the Logano's, that managed their tires, in a sense, it showed, right? The young guns that hammered down as soon as they left pit road was back on pit road. And those guys that had to figure out how to make that tire last 50 laps versus 25, it made one hell of a race, right? You saw the speed difference when guys was on fresh tires, unlapping themselves, right?
But then you saw guys like Blaney in this first stage who was able to run long and save his tires and have an extra set of tires. Yeah.
He saved the set. They figured it out, right? Which is what you want. In my opinion, that's how you want a short track race to be, right? Yeah, maybe it was a little dramatic or a little excessive with 25 lap cords. Yeah, right. But we begged for soft tires. We begged for tire fall off. We wanted something different, and they delivered.
And Goodyear told them in advance. These are like cheese graters in our test and our stuff.
They delivered, and it, like you said, it created some excitement in the race. You had a race in the race, right? And you didn't know on that last restart how that thing was going to check out, right? You had the 48 who dropped like a rock on the restart, open up a lane, stack the lane up, and you had lead changes behind it. Old tires versus new tires, 8 laps versus 28 laps. What a big difference that made. So yeah, I think my checker was definitely Goodyear this weekend, bringing a tire that fell off.
Now Ricky's going to tell us why we're wrong. What's your checkers? What's your checkers, Ricky?
My checkers goes to Goodyear, and I co-sign with you guys and agree 100% that they should be applauded for basically putting their brand in jeopardy for the good of the sport and making a tire that wears out cords, looks embarrassing on track, so that within the element in which it's racing, they're brave enough to understand this is what was asked for. So my checkers is Goodyear. And it's Goodyear plus Mother Nature, I want to be clear, for providing, because the two had to work together, providing the exact tire that gave the WWF shit show of a race that fans wanted, because to Chris Supreme Court Justice's point, they were bored with ordinary racing Bristol. So, did they succeed? They absolutely succeeded. Did words like chaotic, unpredictable, 14 cautions, 30% of the race run under caution also come into play? You bet they did. Did the race winner tell you in his interview, yeah, it just takes a lot of luck now to win these races? He said that. He said that. Here's a simple fix. You want to have a softer tire and you want to eliminate the difference between a competitive race and a shit show made for TV. Pretty simple. Just give us a practice during the time when you're going to run the race. That's all. Very simple. You could move that Xfinity race. I think we started at 6:30, 7:30. Bump that up. Just bump that up 2-3 hours. Let the tire run in the practice in the conditions it's going to run in. And I promise you, from a team perspective, you'll still have your coveted fall off. Okay. But what you won't have, and I don't want to start getting ahead of it, is now what are you going to do with all these cars that are catching fire? Because if you thought the first three that did it, there's plenty more that it's going to happen to. Is that okay? You want to burn a driver up? Josh Berry didn't look too good getting out of that car. You're not going to change the car, and you're not going to change the underbody, the flat underbody to it.
Oh no, again.
So again, you got it. Let's see where we go with it. That's all. So I
that's
guess
been
I
an
agree
issue.
with you guys.
That's been an issue for a long time, though. Practicing at a time you don't race, like back before COVID. We'll have a 1 o'clock practice.
This one, Chris, especially this one, when you know
we'll practice at high noon and race at 7.
Yeah, when you know the gimmicks and the gadgetry that you're trying to infuse in the race to create artificial excitement for the fans, and God bless them, they loved it. It worked.
But why is it artificial excitement? Because again, you're getting back to, if you go watch a cars tour race or a short track race, like these drivers came up having to learn how to manage their tires because they're only going to get so many sets of tires. So they learned to drive
because Goodyear is in the business of making good tires. Okay.
Right.
So the reason it's artificial, to answer your question you asked, the reason it's artificial is because you are now asking Goodyear to make a poorer performing tire for the benefit of the fandom. And they're in support of it, and I'm in support of it. Well, I'm just simply saying, let the teams test in the conditions that are like for like, and you'll have an even better show than you had with tire fall off. It won't go 4 goddamn hours. There won't be 14 cautions, and you'll get your fall off. You'll get your comers and goers, and you'll get old school Bristol.
And I don't disagree with you on practice. I think we should go back to having all the practice that we used to have.
No, I don't.
No. Don't mistake in what I said. No.
My
you don't
opinion,
need all that. You just put it in that window so that they could come away from that and see when it was cold and dark, like it was on the Xfinity race. Got it. Noted. And it'll be a great race. And honestly, the fandom will never know the goddamn difference, and you won't be in the situations that you were in during this race.
Yeah, super fan. We don't need 14 practices before Sunday.
Listen,
good.
I disagree with you, and that's
All right.
fine. I
It
think
is.
I think it's detrimental to young drivers who are, especially drivers who have never been to these tracks. I
They're
think you would
pros.
I that's fine, but you're putting guys, let's use SVG for an example. How
He's a
much more?
pro.
I'm not debating that he's a pro, but he shows up to tracks in a car that he's never been in before, and he gets little to no practice. Sometimes we go weekends where there's no practice at all, and you're
That's true.
putting and yes, this guy is a legend in supercars and he is a pro, but you're also taking 19-year-old kids, 18-year-old kids, you're putting them from a truck or Xfinity car that is 180 difference to these cars, and you're putting them on tracks like Daytona and Talladega, or even on the opposite end, Martinsville, in cars they've never been in before, on a track they've never been in before, and you're saying, go figure it out.
No, they got the simulators, and them simulators are pretty spot on.
I'm not saying,
Well,
but their time is limited in the simulators. They have a certain amount of time, and
Or they're
especially
not going
if
in
you're a
that
lower
car
tier.
ice cold,
hold on.
right?
Yep. Hey, just one thing I want to add. One thing right there. Hold on. If you're, Chad, I don't disagree with you on the practicing, but if you are not at a racetrack where the tire gimmickry is being put into play, and you're bringing back a tire that is consistent to what has been run there. So in other words, we're not chasing the tail. We're using Bristol because we're chasing the tail. We're trying to make Bristol more exciting. Okay. Then there's a book of notes that they already know how the tire responds. And to Chris's point, there's sim. You can put that quote unquote SVG into that car with a setup and with confidence, with limited practice sessions, 20 minutes, whatever, or even no practice. Where you need it in the critical time is when you're affecting one of the key variables to that race car, and you got what you wanted, the fans got what they wanted. All I'm saying is when you're playing those games with, honestly, driver safety, none of them blew up and went into the wall, but man, this would be a whole different conversation if someone got hurt. When you're playing those games with the four things that put that car in contact with the ground, just practice during the same conditions. That's all I'm saying.
And I want to be clear about one thing here. The reason these tires are so important, and Goodyear is being asked to do these things. And yes, this is not good for Goodyear's brand. They want you to know when you go to the store and you
Yeah, that
buy
they'll be
four
good for
Goodyear tires.
60,000 miles, right?
Right.
Yeah. Of
Right.
course.
So again, I agree with you 100%. Huge respect
Yeah.
to them. The reason they are being asked to do this is because this car does not run well on short tracks.
That's a
So
That's a fact.
the one
The
thing
variable. Yep.
the one thing that we can change right
Yep.
now that doesn't need approval from the teams, that doesn't need millions of dollars in team or NASCAR investment, is the tire.
You're right.
And, you know, so Goodyear gets so much flack one way or the other. But they're being put in such a position. And again, they're stepping up and knocking it out of the park and doing whatever they're asked and being an incredible partner to NASCAR, because NASCAR cannot figure out any other way to make this car put on a show at a short track currently.
No, you're right.
Chris, you watched the broadcast, yeah?
Yeah.
So obviously Chad and I were in the 41 pit box. I saw during the race that there was an interview with a spokesman or representative.
Yeah,
from
that was
Goodyear.
with the global guy. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he's been there. I mean, I've been in the sport 20 years. He's been there all of my 20.
I'm not
And
trying to paraphrase, but I basically heard what he said was, this is what y'all asked for.
This is what they asked for, and this is what we delivered.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Yeah, he
And
pretty much said, "Listen,
that's a pretty much
you can
that's a
complain
pretty
now, but you
legit.
said you wanted a softer tire, and we
Yep.
delivered, and now
Yep.
we're going to make the best of the situation." If you paraphrase it,
Yeah, that's what.
and we're going to give another set, and when
Yeah,
that whole
Chad and I saw him, but we had no way.
yeah,
We couldn't hear the broadcast to see what he
yep,
was saying. So
yep, he pretty much said, "This is what you asked for."
All right, let's talk
good
records,
stuff.
Chris.
Good stuff. Good
Yeah,
stuff.
that was a good one. Wreckers. What do I got for wreckers? Oh, I got the Fords catching fire on the right front rocker. That's my wreckers. I took some cars out for no reason. 21 and it's a couple more that
Was it
the
just
two
the
car.
Fords? The 23.
It was three.
The
It was
23 also caught on
the
fire.
23, the 21,
And the two.
Cindric.
Cindric caught on fire too.
Cindric was, yeah.
Mhm.
I know. Yeah, there were three.
Yeah.
Burn him to the ground, baby. Burn him to the ground.
Ricky, what was your records?
Well, I swear I did not stop at Chris Justice's house, but I feel like the Supreme Court Justice and I have compared notes. My records is just be careful. You play games with these tire compounds. You make the fans happy. We got that. That's 3 fires up in them rocker boxes because of the construction of the flat underbody. Like, that's the crazy thing about this sport. One action can cause multiple reactions.
Unintended consequences.
Cool.
Sure.
Yeah.
Remember we had the door foam catching fire a few years ago? Like
Yeah. Remember that?
Well,
Yeah.
I wanted, and that's what I wanted to ask you, and maybe that's what I was thinking about because I thought that because I remember like Kevin Harvick catching fire, a few other guys. Like,
Yeah.
didn't NASCAR make some kind of
Yes.
change to?
Yeah, it was the routing
and maybe
of the
it was
exhaust.
okay, and maybe it was the door, but I thought for some reason a couple of years ago we were having this same kind of issue
He's
where
right.
the rubber was getting caught, and that NASCAR made some kind of adjustment to the car.
They
So-
did. They made a change up in that rocker box. It had to
Right.
do with the vent or the grate, the grill grate that was
Correct.
up in there. But I think what's happened now, and again, you're creating so much rubber and picking up so much rubber that whatever that was that we're not all quite remembering, but it did happen. Now, even that change is not enough to keep these things from catching fire up in there. So, yeah.
All right, my records was Denny Hamlin.
Oh my God! Thank God. I thought honestly, Supreme Court. I thought I was going to get his records this week. I thought
mean,
I was going to be his records.
No, you are not
Go
my
ahead, bud.
records. Yeah, obviously I picked Denny to win the race, and he wasn't even close. He was a guy who, I mean, obviously when this happened completely by accident in the spring race in 24, he was the guy that knew how to make his tires last. He drove away from everybody, just making sure he did it right. And it was the absolute 180 opposite of that this time. They completely missed the setup or whatever it was. I mean, right out of the gate, green flag. It was like he had a boat anchor tied to the back of that number 11 Toyota Camry because he just sunk. Then he loses a wheel on the track. It was just an absolute disaster. He ends up coming home 31st. And I mean, again, I thought, number one, I thought even in good conditions, Denny could go out and win this race. Obviously, I picked him.
Mhm.
But secondly, I thought if things went the way that Goodyear said they were going to go, that this played right into Denny's hand. And it did not. So that was my wreckers. Rick, you're up for heckers.
So, with all due respect, because he's my guy, he's my brother, he is the Supreme Court Justice of this podcast. But what the heckers is Hendrick Motorsports? and allow me to elaborate.
Listen, it was bad to watch.
Listen, Kyle Larson. So, Chad, you were just going on and on for good reason and good fact, about Denny Hamlin. You're talking about a guy, Kyle Larson, who stunk up the show so bad that we had to start playing these games that we're playing with
2 times in a
tires
row.
Yeah, to keep the fans interested, right? So you want to talk about a non-Larson kind of night. Boy goes down a lap early, never gets that lap back, chasing it all night, finishes 32nd. If I can give you one redeeming thing, and Chad, maybe you were eyes on with this with me, as we were pitted coming out of turn four, um, it just so happened that we were pitted right next to the five, right?
Right. Right.
And at one point, he got up in some, I'd say shit, but Alabama, so he got up in some mess, and he bent the toe link on that
Right
car.
rear?
Yeah,
Right rear.
I got to
Yeah.
give those boys credit. It was less than 2 minutes, and they replaced the toe link in that right rear, and that car was gone. So give that one a shining star. But man, can we keep going down the Hendrick
Well,
Motorsports list?
they were under the hood of that car all night long too. Like every time that he
Yeah.
came into pit, they were back under the hood.
Mm. They
But
missed it somewhere.
continue on your
Bowman,
list.
now we got Bowman gets eliminated from the playoffs. So Hendrick sends all their cars in. Round
Mhm.
one, we get a Hendrick dropout.
Mhm.
That don't look good.
At
You
all.
don't want to be that car in that organization under that roof that gets bounced. And then you got Elliott, who crashes out and has major front end damage, like 3 out of the 4. And poor Elliott, they're shoving a microphone in his face, and he's all, well, that's it. We're out of the playoffs and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, no, you're not. They're like, unless you get a new winner. He's like, no, 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 we're out. We're out. Even if we unless we get a new, we're out on points. Like, no, the interviewers were trying to tell him, Chase, you're in the playoffs regardless of what happens, unless there's a new winner.
Well,
If
it
there's a new,
specifically had to be Bowman, Dylan, or
yeah, one of the 4, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the 4
Right.
playoff
or
cars.
SP. Yeah.
Yeah, they're straight up telling him he wasn't buying into it. I know he didn't have the math at hand, but man, what a mess. My what the heck is what the heck, Hendrick?
That was bad. It was bad.
Yeah. I kind of had two heckers. The first one being the luck of Josh Berry. Just, I mean, is there ever
I
been
purposely
a
didn't
worse?
choose him for mine because I didn't want to pile on you, Chad. That's
I
how
kn-
much I love you.
But has there ever been a worse
3 race
luck?
playoff run.
Yeah, I mean, the guy did not make it through the first stage of any of the 3 playoff races. I mean, Rex right out of the gate, lap 1 or lap 2 at Darlington, St. Louis, Rex within the first 50 laps, and then he
Get smoked out.
yeah, I mean, literally, they had to drag him out of the car and listening to uh, the the spotter audio. Oh my gosh, he is screaming at NASCAR because they were setting on pit road on fire, and NASCAR did not throw a caution for like 4 laps.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
Literally, they had to
Yeah.
like drag him out of the car, and the
Yeah.
spotter screaming, "NASCAR, what the F is wrong with you?" Like, um, so anyways, that was my first one. And then
And not to pile on to your boy,
no, come
but
on.
I'm kind of a stats guy. Do you know that SVG now has more points? Total points. Total, right? Adding them
Right.
up.
Right.
And Barry.
Because Barry didn't
Yeah.
finish any of the 3 races.
No. I'm talking about
season long.
season long. Season long points as you add, forget all the playoff structure now.
Right.
Just season long points. I think it's something like 531 to 513. You can check me on that.
Oh, wow.
SVG has more points
Mm.
earned than Josh Berry, who was a race winner back. Oh my God, what was that
Vegas.
week
Vegas.
4?
Yeah.
Okay.
And my other just kind of what the hecker was, Corey Haim has 4 starts in Cup with 2311. He gets a top 5 finish this week. Guess how many top 10s Riley Herbst has in his entire season?
I'm gonna go 0.
0.
I'm going to go 0.
He's
Yeah.
been a mess.
0.
He's been a
Hot mess.
Yep. So
He
that
caused a
was
couple crashes too.
But guess how many zeros are in that sponsor check that comes from Terrible Hurts?
Lots.
Yep. Monster
Monster
in the
zeros.
B2B Monster Zeros.
That's all Terrible Hurts money, because I believe somewhere I heard that they are the number one distributor of.
They sell the majority of the Monster product. Yeah.
Chris, what's your hecker?
I had the 54 and that old Gibbs there, strong car, crushed his day by missing pit road. He definitely had a chance to go win it, and he stepped on his wiener.
Yeah.
So
Rick was excited about that one.
Well, don't be nasty. I
I'm not
just
nasty.
at the time, I believe I turned to Chad and I was grumping and grumping about the race and the tires and everything else. And I said, "Oh, and we're gonna sit here and he's gonna get his first victory." I was a little bitter. I was bitter. And because to your point, like what caused him that issue is like, listen, missing pit road, I'm sorry. Who is that on? That goes into my pit road speeding category, right?
Right.
Isn't that on the driver? So did he get on the
driver?
Yeah. So did he get on the radio and annihilate himself and MF himself like he did to his crew and his?
Of course not. Why would he do that?
Of course not.
Yeah, he missed pit road. You've been past it how many times already?
And I'm not saying it's easy. I'm just saying if you put it in perspective of yelling at his crew and his crew chief in races past,
yeah,
bro, that one's on you. You screwed that race up.
100%. Because he really had the dominant car.
You're right.
All night long.
And that car kept going out front. It had good tire management. You're right, Chad.
It was a rocket ship for most of
You're right.
Yeah. I mean, surprisingly, like, could put it didn't matter. They put new tires on that thing and he would rocket past everybody and
everywhere he wanted to go.
And then be able to hold it out there. So yeah, I agree with you completely. All right, that was a good wreckers section.
Spirited.
Yes. And I'm glad that Ricky kind of had a change of heart from when we were in the pits on Saturday night.
I don't know if it was a change of heart. It was just honesty. I gave credit where credit was due, but I still stand by my opinion.
All right. Well, let's get into some Call Your Shot.
Call your shot.
Call him.
So none of us picked a race winner, but Ricky's pick came home 4th. Mine came home 31st. And Chris, yours came home 32nd.
See that? Well, they did that in Smoking the Bandit.
I got to tip my hat to you because I suck at calling my shot.
He said that last week. It was so crazy. It's like, I'm not good at this. I think
well, maybe it'll change this week.
Should we just let him pick first? Does that help, Chad?
Well, he went first last week. You let him have your spot last week.
I'm trying to throw my boy a bone.
Listen, I'll take it. I got broad shoulders. It'll come to me.
In fairness, it's not like we're running away with it. Rick has 2.
Right.
I have
0.
1. You don't have 3. You have 2.
I got 0.
Yeah, I got 1 and you got 0. It's not like you still can't mathematically come back and, I mean, calm down.
I'm a competitor.
Calm down, Chase Elliott. You're still in the playoffs.
I'm last.
All right.
Not first, you're last.
Listen, I could not find any odds yet for the race in New Hampshire this weekend. So we are literally picking blind.
You don't need them. You should just know from the past 2 New Hampshire races.
All right.
You don't need odds.
Ricky, you're up first.
You guys really want to give it to me?
You finished top.
What you got?
Right. I was going to give it away to my man, but okay. Easy pick. C Bell.
You got Bell going back to back.
Yo,
I told you that I picked all my winners through the playoff before they started. I'm going to stay true to it, even though I feel like we're to that point where I don't even want to say it, but where Denny Hamlin starts to Denny Hamlin, but I'm going to take Denny Hamlin to win at New Hampshire.
Very strong pick. Very strong. That was in my, I had 3 drivers written down. We've picked 2 of the 3.
And those are two
Well,
good ones
well,
too.
at
Let's
listen, at
let's
this
see what
point,
Supreme Court justice has.
nobody's won a playoff race except Joe Gibbs cars. So,
Listen, they're 3 for 3.
and
I
again, that 19 car has historically been very successful at New Hampshire. So,
and that's what
Chris
my
lying
pick
on
is.
that.
I have my pick as Briscoe,
let's go with it.
Wow.
number 19.
So we pick
All
we
three
pick
JGR cars,
three
Toyotas.
AGR cars. Say they're going
Listen,
four.
they have got this thing figured out. They have dominated every race in a sense of the since the playoffs started.
You're not
And,
wrong.
you look at the races coming up. We go to Kansas where Toyota has been, predominantly the 2311 cars, but Toyota has been very dominant there. And then the Roval where could kind of be anything. Again, you're going to have to compete with the road course guys there.
Yeah,
But
that Rovers.
Vegas, Talladega, and Martinsville, dude, I mean, they got a chance to go on a wild run here.
3 in a row for Gibbs.
3 in a
Could
row,
be.
sweeps the first round.
Sweeps. Bring the brooms out.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was another fun episode, fellas.
Loved it.
Speaking of fun episodes, we have another great guest episode that's going to come out the day after you hear this one. We have a 2-for-1, fellas.
BOGO.
Logo.
Yeah, some
Buy one, get
family action going on here. The married couple, both drivers, Natalie Decker and Derek Lemke are our guests this week. So
Nice.
cool story getting
Good
in.
people. Good people.
Yeah, it fun talk with them. I think people are going to enjoy that a lot. So make sure you check out that. Rick, remind folks about what we got going on Roval weekend.
Roval weekend. So Roval weekend, we are going to be live on stage at Old Armor Beer Company in downtown Kannapolis. That's October 3rd. It's 5 p.m. I'm already looking forward to it, and I'm already feel like I'm drinking the beer for it. The three of us, you talk about NASCAR, Chad wants more NASCAR practices. How many practices do we get at doing our first live podcast? None.
0.
We're just gonna get up there and we gotta put the tail in the wind and let her fly.
That's it.
Super excited.
It's gonna be
Downtown
fun.
Kannapolis. Come on, you can look it up. 2011 West Avenue, Old Armor Beer Company.
Wait a minute. Is it 2011 or 211?
I said 211.
Oh, you just
Isn't
said
it?
20. Yeah, but you just said 2011. So
That's because I've been drinking. 211. 211. Hey, listen. Earlier you were screwing up all the intros. I mean,
I
you want
still
to talk
can't
about
talk.
Chord buddy. I think you need tongue buddy. Someone should come out with tongue buddy and straighten you out.
Straighten them right up. Tongue buddy.
Oh God, it's gonna be a good night. But that's not our only live we got coming up. So
No, we don't. We got another one. October 19th, Talladega on the NASCAR Experience Stage, 9 a.m. So all those viewers will be in Dega. That means you can't party too hard Saturday night because this is an early one, 9 a.m. The NASCAR Experience Stage with another guest that we're going to bring out live in Talladega.
you don't want to miss that.
Hey, Chad, you know what we forgot?
What we forgot?
Super fans. I mean, I know you are kind of you're the super fan guru, but we have a super fan in Jesse, right? Is there a chance that Jesse makes it to Talladega?
Jesse has messaged us and said he is going to be in Dega with his wife and his son, and they're going to be up front in person. He messaged this week and said, "Can you bring me some Michael Waltrip beer?"
Michael Waltrip
And
beer.
it's been a while since we talked about it. However, don't we have the opportunity on Charlotte Roval Race Weekend where our contest winner is going to be hanging with us?
Yeah.
Shouldn't we think that is another one for Old Armor Beer Company?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Lucky Lars.
Okay.
Yeah. Who has been incredible. Look at this poster he sent me, fellas.
Wow, look at that.
You've already
That
got
is-
yours matted up, huh?
Oh shoot. My wife put that in that frame for me. I just got
Oh,
to figure
yeah.
out how to hang it on the wall.
Yeah, I gotta get mine done. So that's super fan number 2.
Yep.
We have a chance at super fan number 3, and I don't know if Supreme Court Justice knows this, and we should not do anything without the Supreme Court of Justice knowing.
He
But
needs to rule on this.
does he know that our iRacer, Timothy Presley, boom, was at Bristol
He
Yeah.
what
and
didn't even
Chad?
let us know
Yeah,
beforehand.
I knew that.
You
Yeah,
knew he
Big
was
Tim, man.
coming.
You
Big Tim
knew
sent me a
we
message.
didn't. How'd that happen?
Big Tim asked me, was I going to be there? I told him I was on jack stands. And next thing I know, I see the picture of you three behind the hauler. I said,
Boy,
look at there.
he texted us both the morning of the cup race, and he texted me and said, "Hey, are you in Bristol?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll be at the track a little bit later. We don't get there till 2:30." And he said, "Okay, I'm here." I was
Yeah.
like, "Holy crap!"
Yeah.
Meanwhile, he sends the same damn thing to me right away. I'm texting Chad. I'm like, God damn, what did I fuck up again? I'm like, I forgot. I'm like, hey. He's like, I didn't know either. I'm like, thank God. So maybe there's a chance. Maybe there's a chance we get him over from that Asheville area,
For the
and he
Roval.
too could be a
I think he said
weekend
he may
participant.
partake in the Roval event. He
Yeah,
didn't
I
say
think
the whole weekend.
I think
But
if
And
he
if
he
we
gets
said
can
he's
get
gonna
him
show
there
up.
by Friday, then he too can be at Old Armor Beer Company with our man Stefan,
Yes.
yeah.
newly married man Stefan.
Newly married man.
Also, before we get out of here, I want to give a big shout out to the K-Town Connection, uh, a podcast here in Kannapolis. They invited me on last Thursday. I got to go on and be a part of their podcast to talk about what we're doing and all that kind of stuff. And really cool setup. Um, they have two original Dale Senior cars in there. They
Mm.
have the old pink K2 in there,
The
and then
K2 car, yeah.
and then that they have the Good Wrench number 3 in there, and tons, guys. I'm talking tons and tons and tons of original Dell Senior stuff, photos. I mean, they did an incredible job of restoring. This was the actual garage where they built the K2 cars and set up those cars for Dale Senior when he was racing local tracks here. His first
that's
ride
cool.
was in that
That is
K2.
cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And they've invited us over to record a podcast there if we want to come do it there. So, but really cool of them to have us on. So if you have a chance, go check them out. It's the K-Town Connection. The videos on YouTube. So go check that out and tell them thanks for having me on. I appreciate the chance to talk about our podcast with their fans.
That's awesome.
Big time.
Yeah. Speaking of that, how can folks find us, Chris?
Listen, you got us on the Instagram, Records Podcast. You get us on the website, recordspodcast.com. Hey, and remember to smash, not just tap, smash that like button and hit that subscribe button.
I like it.
Smash it. Smash it.
Another great episode, fellas. Thanks for coming back for another week. This was a good one.
Yeah. Shout out to Goodyear.
All right. We'll see y'all
Absolutely.
next
All
time.
three of us.